Hello, everybody. Welcome to this LGBTQ plus support connections fair as part of the Pride Month at UH. My name is Chris Lloyd. My pronouns are he, him. I am the co-chair of the LGBTQ plus staff network, along with my lovely colleague, Connor Howard. And I'm also a senior lecturer in the School of Humanities, but I'm here with the former hat on today. So as part of this Connections Fair, we are going to hear some individual presentations from a range of people. And then there'll be a time for Q&A after, so you can put questions in the Q&A chat part if you have any for afterwards. So we're going to go around and hear from everybody, and then hopefully have a little bit of a discussion at the end. So this event really is to showcase various groups in Herts and to show how they support the LGBTQ community, which is especially useful now during Pride Month as we come together, and kind of community and collectivity, I feel, is quite important. So I'm going to talk first about the staff network at UH, and then I'm going to pass on. So the network, we currently have around 50 members of staff at UH, and really they're designed to be a kind of support mechanism. So we're there to get together to socialize, come together, talk and discuss. We do this through kind of informal socials, which once upon a time happened on campus, which maybe will happen again, but we've been doing it online for a while, which has actually been quite good. People have been able to kind of drop in around their schedule. We also have a debate club once every other month. So we kind of talk about something like a serious topic, like what is free speech, and then a less serious topic, like what counts as a sandwich. Just so that we can talk to one another about things and just have some kind of dialogue as a community. We also have a reading group that we started recently where we're kind of thinking more critically about queer writing. And then we've also got some kind of talks coming up. And really we're there to offer support to each other, to flag up resources and places that staff can go within the university. But also we're starting more to have a voice within the university as well, so that we can kind of participate in the larger institutions, conversations about equality, diversity, inclusion, and so on. So the LGBTQ plus voice can be heard at higher levels within the university. But we also engage with allies, and allyship to me is a complicated word, but we foreground active allies in the network. So even if you don't identify as LGBTQ+, you can still join if you are an active ally. And by active ally, we mean people that put themselves out there, right? That speak up, that do things, that participate, that if they see something, they will say something right in the street, wherever it is. So we really encourage allies to be part of our network because we feel that that's the best way to foster community within the university space. So that's the kind of quick overview of the network. We've got 2 co-chairs, then we've got a deputy chair, and then we've got a few representatives as well. So we've got a trans rep, an ally rep, and we've also got a BAME rep as well, so that we can speak to particular parts of the community that often are underrepresented. And wanted to kind of take this opportunity now to advertise while the universe is going slightly awry on issues of kind of trans inclusion, that we as a network are fully trans inclusive and supportive above all else, and that's kind of central to our message. And we stand with Stonewall, and I wanted to make that very clear from the off for anybody that's watching or watches this later. Okay, so that's the network. And again, anyone that's watching this, if you're part of the university and you want to join, please do reach out to us. We can have a conversation. If you don't feel ready yet to be part of the network, but just want to talk to us informally, we can do that anytime. Connor and I are very nice people, I think, and we are always willing to have chats and talks with anybody. Okay, so that's me. I'm going to hand over to Sue Rayner Jacobs and wanted to flag up a trigger or content warning because her Red Kite charity are a rape and sexual abuse support charity. So I wanted to just throw that in there before we move over. So I'm going to hand over to Sue.
Yeah, hi everyone. I was further down the schedule, but unfortunately I have to go at 3, so they very kindly moved me up. But I represent Red Kite Rape and Sexual Abuse Support Service. We're a relatively new service. We only launched our helpline on the 14th of December, so we haven't been going more than about 7 months. And it's a long, hard slog to register as a charity and get all the governance in place, and then to kind of train all our volunteers, support workers, workers, recruit counsellors, and then get our name and branding out around Hertfordshire. In terms of catchment, we cover the whole of eastern Hertfordshire, so the whole of North Herts, down towards East Herts, which is Bishop Stortford where we're established, down to Welwyn and Hatfield, and then across to Stevenage in the west. And everywhere in between that circle is part of our catchment area. So what's our vision? Our vision is to provide comprehensive services to survivors of recent or historic rape, that includes childhood rape or sexual abuse or violence, to enable them to recover and thrive once more in their communities. We help them with any trauma that they've suffered, we try and give guidance and support. And of course, we do provide a helpline, as I mentioned, which creates a safe space for survivors of rape and sexual abuse to speak to trained volunteers and qualified counsellors who will listen, validate and empathise with them. We believe everyone who comes to our door. There's no question of disbelief, no question of scrutiny or anything like that. We will provide psychological first aid. We triage your needs, making onward referrals to other agencies appropriate. We can signpost you to drug and alcohol services if needed. Because drug and alcohol do provide a block to other therapies, so we need to get you treated in a kind of priority order. And we provide therapy through a variety of means, whether one-to-one, in groups, or holistic of any kind that best suits the individual. We are building our therapy service up at the moment, and it's an expensive outlay, so we are trying to attract funding the whole time for our therapy. It costs about £50 a session, so if you have a series of, say, 10 sessions, you can see it's going to cost 500 quid for each client. So as far as our clients are concerned and the people that call our helpline, the counselling and the support and the advice is all free at the point of contact. We will enable survivors to learn new coping strategies, to manage their everyday lives and responsibilities, and to heal enough to live full, happier lives in your communities. At the same time, we measure qualitative and quantitative improvement. We do that by standard questionnaires, GAD-7, PHQ-9, just standard therapy questionnaires. The counsellors use CORE as well, and all that is securely recorded on our charity log system, which is a secure system that you'd expect a rape support organisation to use. As far as this event is concerned, it's probably worth telling you that the prevalence of partner abuse in same-sex couples is similar, if not higher, to straight couples. And abuse occurs in approximately 25 to 38% of all relationships, and that's probably higher than you'd assume. These rates rise sharply amongst transgender individuals. Research demonstrates that 80% of transgender people have experienced emotional, sexual or physical abusive behaviour by a partner or a former partner. So this is one of the reasons that we wanted to be here today to talk to you. And if I can just share my screen, I'll share the poster so that you can see we have a helpline number. It's 01279 790 450. Our helplines are open from 8 till 10 every evening. Our volunteers are fully trained by us and certificated. And in fact, one of them has just gone on to be offered a job as an ISVA in the north. We recruit them from all over England and Wales and Scotland. If we haven't had any from Scotland yet, we've even got one who lives in the Netherlands. And so we also offer a helpline hour from 4 to 5 on Tuesdays and Thursdays for those who can't make the evenings. So if you need our services, we please do invite you to ring our helpline, and we're called Red Kite. So thank you very much for listening. I'm now going to hand over to Clive Duffy, who is from Hearts Pride, and ask for Clive.
Thank you very much, Sue. So yes, my name is Clive. I'm one of the founder organizer directors of Hertfordshire Pride, which we started back in 2013. It's now deemed as one of the best small prides in the country. We look to get an audience of around 4,000 to 5,000 people Last year, of course, due to COVID, we had to cancel. This year, I'm pleased to say that Hearts Pride is going ahead under very strict COVID conditions, and also the fact that we were able to get a grant, which enables us to offer the event this year for free to attend, and also it means that the two of us that put Hearts Pride together are not financially liable this year if the government changed the goalposts and the events are officially cancelled by them. So Hearts Pride has been going for, as I said, 7 or 8 years now. It's grown from strength to strength. It's a lovely event. Where, as I said, we attend usually 3,000 to 4,000 people, but we have a license to go up to 5,000. In the past, entertainment has taken place in a large circus big top with the bar inside. We have a health and wellbeing marquee, which is actually one of our most important features of the event. It's a health and wellbeing marquee where organisations that want to work and engage with the LGBT community can come along and have a stall. And it could be fostering, it could be sexual health, it could be mental health. Hearts Mind Network, for instance, this year will feature heavily in our health and wellbeing marquee, because mental health for our community, the LGBT community, has been really quite seriously affected with lockdowns and being encouraged not to hook up, etc. So that's really key, that there are outlets for people to chat to. Also, we have great connections with Hertfordshire Police. Hertfordshire Police, I do not charge them to attend. They come for free, along with many of their LGBT trained and LAGLOs, the lesbian and gay police officers. So in Hertfordshire, there are 50 specialist trained LGBT officers that can be specifically and specially requested for if a member of the public doesn't want to speak to an ordinary officer. They can speak to an LGBT officer on request. So that's a great thing. So they're there to show that that Hertfordshire Constabulary are very good, I have to say, working with the LGBT community. They too have their own staff network, and it's continually growing. And they have a conference every 2 years where we're invited to go and attend. The fire service, you probably don't know that Hertfordshire Fire Service have just had 3 of their fire engines all glammed up, all rainbowified, and so 3 engines around the county now that have LGBT decoration, which is great. Hertfordshire Police have 1 police car, which is out on the streets, loud and proud. So that's also that's another good thing. It's all about that partnership working, which is really, really important. As well as the health and wellbeing marquee, a couple of years ago we decided to have a dog show at Hearts Pride, and that's very well received, as you can imagine. So I'm the compere. I try and keep it clean, but it is funny, and we have various categories that the dogs can enter and take part in, as well as their owners. As I said, this year we are COVID ready, so we are having, you won't be able to walk into, the only marquee that you can walk into is the health and wellbeing marquee, but that will only have 2 walls on it, so I can guarantee airflow, etc. And the stage this year will be outside. We also have a selection of the usual stalls of various organisations. It could be political parties, it could be someone selling jewellery, cakes. There are lots of different organisations that book a stall, usually about 40, and they have their own little pop-up marquees. The event itself runs from 12 till 10. It's free to attend this year, which is fantastic. And the other good thing about in the health and wellbeing marquee, there are groups out there that work with the LGBT community that people don't really know that they exist. So for instance, TSG, which is the trans support group for Hertfordshire, is one that I helped set up a couple of years ago, and they've gone from strength to strength. So they look after and will support people 18 plus, but also the family and their friends as well, not just the trans person. And then Young Pride in Hearts, which a lot of you probably won't have heard of, they are now managed and looked after by the Young People Services of Hertfordshire County Council, as I just don't have enough time to do it anymore. So they were a great organisation for me to pass it to and say, great, please look after this, and they've grown it from strength to strength to the point now they have 15 groups around the county to support young LGBT people, which is fantastic. On that note, I'll move over to the Ask for Clive charity. I always find it quite difficult saying Ask for Clive as if I set it up. I didn't set it up. The charity was named in my honour, which is lovely. So the Ask for Clive charity is a charity that was set up by a straight ally from St Albans, who'd witnessed homophobia against his brother, but more so his friends in St Albans. And this was 2 years ago. And he said, what can he do? He'd already seen me speak at a couple of political events, and asked if I would like to get involved and would I accept the charity being named after me. So it's very difficult to say no in that instance. But with that, of course, it comes, I'm not just the name, I have to be a trustee and one of the faces of the charity. So the Ask for Clive charity is about social inclusion in venues where public can attend. So it could be a pub, restaurant, museum, theatre, wherever people mix. And it could be businesses, it could be private organisations, your local pub down the road. But we start off with this, it's all about just making people aware that that venue is socially inclusive. And any type of discrimination will not be tolerated. So there's a sticker that goes on the front door. And there is a slide that you'll see later on, I'm sure, which says, Ask for Clive, everybody is welcome here. And underneath there's a little statement that says, this venue does not tolerate any form of discrimination against anybody. If you witness it, tell the bar staff or the venue, and they'll look after you, put you in a safe place if you don't feel safe, and take care of the arrangements that may or may not be needed. It might be someone just needs to be kicked out. It might be someone needs to have the police called. We also act as a third-party reporting centre for hate crime as well, via our website. Excuse me. This year on the 23rd, on the 14th of July, 2 years ago, the BBC heard of us. We hadn't really launched the charity at that point, but the BBC heard of us and did a little piece on us, which was lovely. It went out on the morning breakfast show from 6 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock. And then by midday that day, we'd received 800 emails from various organizations, some of them from other parts of the world, if they could join our scheme. So that was fantastic. Our aim until COVID was to be in 20,000 venues by the end of last year. Obviously, COVID's made that a little bit difficult. So we've downgraded a little bit to 10,000. Now, one of the ways that we've done that is that on the 23rd of July this year, there will be something called Pub Pride, which is a national event. And again, it's all Googleable. So it's pubpride.com. And we've encouraged pubs and venues to open their doors to the LGBT community. And any money that is raised from that event will be split between the Ask for Clive charity and all the regional and local pride organisations from around the country. What it's doing, it's giving safer spaces for the community to pop out and have meet up with their friends, and then it's also the pub industry have suffered as well, of course, and so it's two groups that have suffered to COVID to come together and just have some fun for one night on the 23rd, and maybe also from that extends. Venues might extend and put a particular LGBT night on as a regular event, whether they do it quarterly, monthly, etc. So from that, hopefully, all these new partnerships and cohesions will work together and could be a good thing. We're hoping to make it an annual event as well. I think I ought to be quiet now. And I'd like to pass over to Diana Kirsch, who is the Director of the Pro Bono Law at the University of Hertfordshire.
Thanks so much, Clive. Hi, everyone. I'm just going to share my screen as I've got some slides to show you about our law clinic. So as Clive said, I'm Director of Pro Bono at Hertfordshire Law School, and I was involved in setting up a law clinic about 1.5 years ago. And what we realised was that we needed to do more to encourage people from the LGBT community to come to us, because we were doing some diversity monitoring and we were a bit worried to see that, you know, we really weren't sort of reaching that community. So we spoke to lots of people, including, I have to say, Christopher and Chloe, so thank you very much for your help. And we decided to launch a dedicated LGBT+ law clinic. So we launched it just a few months ago in April. We provide free legal advice on a range of issues, so family law, employment and housing law, and we were already offering advice on those areas, but we've also expanded and we can now offer free advice on change of name and also gender recognition certificates. And the way the law clinic works is it's our law students within the law school who provide the advice, but it's all done under supervision of lawyers. So it's a mixture of lawyers who work in the university, and then also we've got partnerships with leading firms in Hertfordshire, and we're also working closely with the Law Society's LGBT solicitors division, and they're particularly helpful in relation to gender recognition certificates, which is quite a niche area of law. It's an appointment only service. The advice is completely free of charge, and if anyone wants to contact us, I've given you our email address, so it's probono@herts.ac.uk, and so just need to email us and we'll speak to you, take a few details, see if it's the kind of case that's suitable for the clinic, and then we'll arrange to see you. And I just wanted to show you, so in normal times, we're based on campus in Hatfield. Some of you might know our facilities in de Havilland campus, but obviously we're not on campus at the moment. So since March 2020, we've become an online clinic, and all appointments are now offered on Zoom, which we find is actually working really well, both for clients and for our solicitors and students as well. And what we did when we decided to have an LGBT clinic is we thought really carefully about what we needed to do to make sure our students were able to take part in this clinic. So all students who take part in the clinic have to do a certain amount of compulsory training. So we train them on ethics, professionalism, confidentiality, and also things like, you know, legal research, interviewing technique. But we thought it'd be really important to include some additional training. And so all our law clinic students now have to have extra LGBT awareness training. And we provided that in collaboration with TOCO, which is a youth charity based in Luton, and they have a dedicated section of their charity that deals with LGBT issues for young people. And so they were really helpful, and they helped us with delivering a session on trans awareness, unconscious bias. And then we also did a pronoun training session in collaboration with Chloe, who you're going to hear from in a little bit. And we just felt it was really important that if we were going to advertise this service to the LGBT community, we wanted the community to sort of, you know, have faith in us and know that our students had received that training, and that they would be given not only good quality advice, but advice in a sort of, you know, non-judgmental way. So again, if you've got any questions, if you want to contact us, please do so, and we'll try our best to help. I thought it was worth also mentioning another project that we run in the law school, and that's called Street Law. So Street Law is a legal education project. It started up in America, it's gone all around the world, and it's this idea of law students going into schools and community groups and improving access to justice by demystifying the law. So for example, I did a session only earlier today, and my students delivered a session in a school on the law around joint enterprise. We also do sessions on stop and search, sexual consent and sexting, and recently we've expanded to cover sessions with an LGBT theme. So you can see a picture of my student Kerry, who designed and delivered a session for LGBT History Month, which talks about the history of gay rights. So we focused on, you know, the notorious Section 28 and how the law has changed, particularly in relation to gay marriage. And so we can offer that session to schools. And then the other session that we've started running recently, which has proved really popular, is a session around how to be an ally. So talking about, what it means to be an ally and encouraging kids to think about what they can do to be an ally to their friends, particularly friends who might be coming out as non-binary or trans, thinking about, pronouns, terminology, and that kind of thing. Okay, thank you very much. I'm now going to hand over to Oliver, who's from the Hearts Mind Network.
Thank you so much, Diana. So yes, my name's Oliver, my pronouns are he, him, and I'm here representing Hearts Mind Network today. I'm working there as a therapist and group facilitator. I'm going to say a little bit about one of our specific services, which is our LGBTQ plus peer support group. But before I get into that, I'm just going to give a brief overview of what Hearts Mind Network do overall. So you may all be familiar with Mind, the national charity, but it's subdivided into quite a few local branches of Mind. Just going to read a little bit about what Mind do in Hearts Mind Network. So we deliver essential mental health support in Hertfordshire, providing a diverse range of services from 7 wellbeing centres and other venues across all 10 districts of the county. Our services are available to all residents in Hertfordshire over the age of 18, and we do also offer some dedicated services for 11 to 18-year-olds. We create opportunities for individuals experiencing mental ill health to make choices, find their own solutions, build resilience, and manage their whole life and well-being. Our services are based on the principle of self-help with a strong emphasis on prevention, personal development, self-management, and improving health and well-being. So we offer quite a broad range of services, really, including one-to-one practical and emotional support, counselling, well-being courses, crisis support, community support, peer support, housing advice, employment advice and support, leisure and education groups, services for older people, and information and advice. So yeah, Mind do have quite a diverse range of services, as you're hearing. I sometimes struggle to keep track of them all, but yeah, it's really this last year, I think, since COVID hit, where a lot of our services used to take place in person. Like a lot of people, we weren't entirely sure what to do with ourselves to begin with. But fortunately, we were able to take all of the groups and most of the services that we offer online. And our online groups this last year have been a real lifeline, I think, where we've all had so much collective loss of the places we used to go, the social groups we used to have, all of the interactions and things that we took for granted. Our clients have found that just having that space to come and know that they can talk confidentially about how they're doing and get some social support has been a real lifeline for them. So let me say a little bit about the LGBTQ peer support group. So much like our other groups, it's a safe, confidential space, but aimed at supporting specifically the LGBTQ community and allies. And so we run on Thursday evenings every week. The group starts at 7 p.m. We don't have too many sort of strict activities or structure. What I do like to do is to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to check in at the beginning of the group. So everyone has an opportunity to share a little bit about how it is they're doing. They can talk about their mental health, but don't have to. And checking in actually isn't mandatory. So if you're unsure about what to say, or perhaps it's your first time in the group and you just want to see what the rest of us are getting up to and you're not quite feeling confident enough to talk, that's absolutely fine. I'm there as a group facilitator, just to sort of make sure everyone knows the boundaries and the appropriate conduct within the group. But other than that, it's not my group, it's for the people who come and use it. So it's just sort of facilitating and holding that space for them. In the middle of the group, we tend to talk about a little bit of everything. It was a little like Chris was saying earlier at the beginning of the group, just sort of sharing life, the universe and everything, catching up over hobbies and shows and things that people enjoy. But it is also a space where people can talk about community issues. and can talk about their mental health if they want to. Then towards the end of the group, we make sure everyone has an opportunity to check out, where it's a chance to share a little bit about how the group's been that day, maybe what, if anything, they'll be taking from the time we spent together. It is open to all residents of Hertfordshire, and if anyone is interested in accessing the group or any of our other services for that matter, or you just want to know a little bit more, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a link to the Hearts Mind Network website, and I'm going to post a link to or an email address actually. So there's an email address which you can contact to get more information on the groups specifically. And I'm also going to just post our Hearts Mind Network phone number so you can get in touch to learn a little bit more. Here we go. Oh, I'm not sure, just want to put that in the chat, not panelists and attendees. That's the one. Okay, right. I think that's everything covered and everything I wanted to say. Thank you so much for listening. And I'm going to hand over to Chloe now.
Hi everyone, I'm Chloe McKendrick. I use she, her pronouns. I've just finished my studies literally a few weeks ago, studying politics and international relations. And I'm also the current president of the LGBT Society here at Herts, and now also the marketing executive at Hertfordshire Student Union. So today I'll be talking about more what the Hertfordshire Student Union actually offer, but also more details about the LGBT plus society. So the Students' Union is a non-profit organisation that is kind of the student backbone of the University of Hertfordshire. Not only do we create and launch events and activities for students, we also represent their voice. We have the student voice team who run regular elections, annual elections for 4 officers, and they run the SU, really. It's students running the SU, and they're allowed to make change, not anything related to the uni or social change, anything they want to do, because they are representing the students. We also have advice and support here too. You could book an appointment to talk to our lovely advice and support colleagues who will talk to you about anything and give you some advice. Absolutely confidential and entirely free. It's absolutely amazing working in the SU. There's so many opportunities for students, and it is entirely run by students. So we're not the bosses, the students are, and that's how we like to keep it. So the LGBT plus society is actually a society at the University of Hertfordshire. Should have mentioned, societies are kind of groups of students. They're groups run and made by students. And they can range from anything from sport to social to cultural, absolutely anything. So I am the current president of the LGBT plus society, and I have been for the past 2 years. So we do social events, but we also run support groups, and we encourage and push social change. We've also helped lead the calendar's important LGBT dates, including LGBT plus History Month and like Pride 2021, which has been amazing. In the past year, we have over tripled the amount of members from 40 to 150, which is extraordinary. We accept anyone into the society. You don't actually have to be a student at Herts. You can get a non-student membership. We collaborate a lot with the staff network, with Chris, the Equality Office, the university in general. Again, the society, I don't get paid for doing the society, neither does my 4 fellow committee members. It's entirely voluntary. I will soon be giving it up because I'm now a member of staff and I have finished my studies, but people will be taking it over. They don't get paid, they do it entirely voluntary, but they're absolutely there for you, 100%. We have a large social media presence, so if you ever do want to get in contact with us, find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email us. But yeah, we run 2 support groups. One is very, very new. Our trans and non-binary support group has been running for the past several years. Due to COVID, it's currently on Discord, but hopefully in September, fingers crossed, it'll be back in person. And 2 weeks ago, we launched our LGBT plus support group, and this is on Zoom. This is actually hosted and run by 2 of our lovely committee members who do an amazing job running the session. And what we kind of do in these sessions is discuss LGBT plus issues, especially with the trans and non-binary as support group, discuss transitions, because no two transitions are the same. And it's just to kind of get advice and support and know that other people are there, other people are experiencing what you're experiencing. You know, this is an entire community. Where I lived back home for a long time, I felt like I was the only LGBT plus person there. And here at Hearts, it's amazing to meet so many other amazing LGBT plus people. So I don't want to leave, so I've got a job here, so now I'm staying. But it's absolutely extraordinary. There's so much support there for you. We've got such a voice at the LGBT Society too. So we launched the first University of Hertfordshire Pride in February 2020. We wanted to do something similar, you know, in person this year, but because of COVID, we had to compromise. But we had the LGBT plus History Month was entirely virtual, but still it was absolutely amazing. We ran a pronouns workshop that over 90 people attended. I didn't expect that, and I was in total shock. But the session is recorded, so you can watch it back on YouTube. And we do often repeats and live workshops that you can ask any questions for. And yeah, we're hoping to get back in person. We did our Pride Parade a few weeks ago, absolutely extraordinary, great turnout, regardless of it pouring down with rain. But yeah, that's generally what we do. We encourage social change, we run activities, we support our members. And yeah, our support group is open to absolutely everybody. It's open to alumni as well. So do check us out on social media, pop us a message. If you fancy any of the events, do tag along. And yeah, we hope to see you at some of our events soon. So I'm going to hand back to my lovely friend, Chris.
Thank you so much, Chloe. That was great. And yes, the march was great. We all were thoroughly drenched and we were still happy. It was great. Thank you all for your wonderful talks. It's really great to see the wealth of stuff that's happening in the local area. It's a really, really useful session. If anybody in the audience wants to ask a question, please do put it in the Q&A. Any question at all, we can read them out. Or if any of you in the panel have questions for each other, please do jump in at any point. Happy to take your questions too. But I was thinking, one of the things, as this is Pride Month, what Pride meant to you individually and what you do and the kind of work you're doing, how you see Pride, how you feel like you're taking part in Pride Month. I wonder if anybody has any thoughts on that, because this is really part of what we're doing in this month that's separate from LGBT plus History Month, is about celebration, community, togetherness, right? Rather than necessarily on the kind of educational side. So really, I wanted to just hear about your thoughts on Pride and what it means to you as a term or an idea. If anybody wants to jump
in. Pride means to me, it's the chance to be seen, the chance to be represented and get my voice out there. It's a chance to bring up LGBT plus history and inform others, encourage social change. It's also a time of celebrating and developing friendships and just enjoying yourself, celebrating who you are. You've not got to hide, you know, you've not got to hide wherever, but you know, Pride in June, I absolutely love it. It's our month. We claim it. It's ours, and we're loud and proud about it. So definitely, it means a lot to me. It just means that I can be me.
A wonderful response. Thank you, Chloe.
I concur with Chloe. It's a great time, and it's a great time for focus, and I think that's really quite important, as is LGBT History Month. But for me, Pride is every day. I'm an older now LGBT member. I came out when I was much younger. I came out probably about 19 or something. But back in those days, it was quite hard to come out. You still had the potential of losing your job, losing your family, being discriminated against awfully. But to see the progression because of the Pride organisation, the Pride title, it can make significant differences, as we've seen. So where we are now is great, and we've come a long way, but there's still a long way to go. Still, we cannot hold hands generally with our partners or our husbands and wives as we walk down the town centre of Watford High Street without fear. So that there's still those things to battle on and make change. Little steps, and I think I've noticed recently, or I've started generational change and generational difference. So what's important to me now is quite different quite often to what's important to people of a younger age. And I also think, excuse me, it's really quite important that because of the generational differences that we generally have, it's really important that we know our history. What happened 50 years ago? Who were the people that were fighting for us? Who were the ones that have made a difference? And I've noticed amongst a lot of the younger generation, they don't know yet. And I think it's really important that we, as some of us who are older and remember some of those organizations and events, it's important for us to share that history with our younger generations, who are going to make a huge, fabulous change going forward. That's what Pride means to me.
Thank you, Clive.
Yeah, I'd like to follow up and say I really agreed strongly with a lot of what Chloe and Clive are sharing there. And when I think about Pride, I think about myself as a younger gay man who didn't quite know himself just yet. When I went to my first Pride parade in London, sort of figuring out what it meant for myself, really. And I don't think it was until the huge, like, purple glittery double-decker bus that was filled with out and proud pensioners came round the corner. That was the moment for me where it clicked how important Pride is, because for them, they weren't allowed to just be who they were for a long period of their life. So to be out there now and for it to be, you know, I know it's still so far from perfect, but for us to have laws and a wider, more accepting cultural understanding that welcomes and celebrates who they are, I think is wonderful. And I think it's something that we need to build on and continue.
Thanks, Oliver. Sue, I know you had to go at some point. I didn't want to.
I do, but I'm an ally. I'm a heterosexual woman of the age of 60, but I was at university in the late 80s. Now, in the late 80s, when I was at university and I had gay friends, it was still illegal to have sex under the age of 21. And in 1994, the bill that wanted to lower the age to 18 was voted down. And I remember that. And I don't go back as far as the Wolfenden report, and I'm sure Clive doesn't either, but at that stage, it was illegal completely. So we've come on a long, long way in a very, very short comparative part of history. And I rejoice in that. And I am an ally.
Thank you so much. That's so nice to hear. Diana?
I would just absolutely agree. Yes, I'm also an ally as well. I completely agree with what Clive was saying as well. I mean, I do remember, I know I don't look old enough, but I do remember when I was at university in the early 90s, it was so different. And I agree, I went to school in the Thatcher era when we had Section 28, and it's wonderful, particularly now I work in the university and we've got all these amazing events going on, to see how far we've come. But you know, we've come so far, but we don't have complete equality. Obviously there are new battlegrounds, particularly around trans issues as well, and so I think it's really important that we keep fighting. It's, you know, it's we haven't completely won yet.
Yeah, the fight is important. I think these months that we have, well, so, you know, sometimes they can seem tokenistic in certain institutions, right? It's like, oh, you can have the month. I think it's really about using the month to platform and celebrate what we do all year round, but kind of use this as a time to be like, hey, look what we're doing all the time. And this is just a moment to take stock and also get together more, right? Like, it's so nice to just draw connections between all these different organizations. I don't know if anybody else has any questions in the audience. Please do throw anything in the Q&A. But the other question I thought I would ask is, are there particular ways you would want to tell people watching this or watching it back later on that they could help raise awareness of the work that you're doing? Are there things that the rest of us can do to support your projects? Are there particular things?
Definitely with the LGBT plus society, it's raising awareness of us is through social media. A lot of who we speak to and correspond and support is students, and especially within you know, the younger generation, social media is so dominant. So do give us a share, a follow, a like, you know, share some of our posts to your friends, to your allies, and just go through that way. But yeah, we're a non-profit organisation, so we run entirely on donations and funds and anything like that, really. So yeah, if you do want to donate anything to the running of LGBT plus society, do feel free, but we are happy with a simple follow on social media.
Likewise, if you'd like to join any of the social media for the Us for Clive charity or Hearts Pride, then please do. We're on all usual platforms, but it's also good for you to know what's around locally. So do go in that Google bar sometimes and Google LGBT Hertfordshire and see what pops up, and you could be surprised. There are lots of little groups out there, but if in doubt, apparently recently I've been called the pink godfather of Hertfordshire's gay LGBT groups. You are welcome to contact me on social media or direct if you're looking for a particular group. Okay, so you'll be very welcome.
That's really nice. Thank you, Clive. But only if people call you that, right? That's how they have to address you in the email.
No, most people just call me sir. And I will say one other thing. When we're sort of back to, well, we say back to normal, whatever we're going to be working with from September time, I will be representing THT twice a month in the forum, offering free sexual health support and advice, free condoms, lots of different things. So we'll be there twice a month. So do come along and say hi.
That's amazing. Thank you. Diana, Oliver?
I was just going to say, I'll put our Twitter and LinkedIn profiles in the chat box. We've got e-flyers for the clinic. So if anyone's interested in having any of these, I can sort of forward them on and then just spread the word. And equally with street law, if you've got any schools or community groups who would like one of our workshops, please let me know. You know, I've got really amazing students who are really happy to go out and deliver sessions. At the moment, we're doing them on Zoom, but hopefully from September, we can start doing them face-to-face again.
Yeah, that's great. We can definitely share and post those wherever we can.
Sure. So you can follow Hearts Mind Network on Facebook, as well as getting in touch through all of the links that I posted before. And to anyone who's supporting LGBTQ community members and feels that there might be a mental health need or you know, that someone might just do with some social support or someone to talk to, please just keep us in mind and highlight that we're here and that we're an option.
Yeah. Did anyone have any questions for each other? Is there anything that you had about listening to each other talk?
Yeah, Diana, I think what you're doing is fantastic. So, and I wasn't aware of that service that was available. Now, if you'd like me to promote that service for you, I'd be more than happy to. So, if you want to steer me towards anything on social media, please do. And obviously, through other Hertfordshire's social media that I have with the community, I can get that tweeted out on Facebook to around 8,000 to 10,000 people. You might not want a client list that large.
No, but no, honestly, we're happy to.
It's all about awareness.
Yeah, thanks so much, Clive. That's amazing. I'll email you. I'll send you some flyers. Do spread the word, and we're really looking forward to coming to Pride. We want a stall so we can hand out flyers.
Great. Well, Hertfordshire University for the first 4 years always came and had a stall. For the latter ones recently, not been able to attend for whatever reason, but hopefully that will change this year.
Yeah, no, we're definitely coming.
Fabulous. Thank you.
And I just wanted to, oh, sorry, Oliver.
Right. Just going to say that Hearts Mind Network generally have a stall as well. So anyone who does make Pride, I shall see you there.
And I've just got something for Chloe. Chloe, in previous years, I've also offered free sex education and specialising in HIV awareness amongst all LGBT communities. I used to come in on an evening, the 8 o'clock evenings. I can't remember the name of the room. It's one of the C blocks, but I used to come in, and I'm very happy to do that again a couple of times a year. So it's a 2-hour session. It's fun, it's interesting, it's educational, and you get lots of little presents as well to go away with.
Well, that's amazing, Clive. Definitely. I am switching. I am president till September, but I'll get in contact ASAP so we can book something.
And you probably noticed that I do have access to the Facebook page for the student union, the LGBT groups, LGBT group for the student union. So I do post there, so you can contact me there or however you wish to contact me.
That's amazing, thank you. I also wanted to say, you know, the ask for Clive, I definitely think that I'm going to raise it to my colleagues about introducing it at the Forum, which is the Union of Hertfordshire's club, and the Early House, which is the bar. Definitely think we should, even in the little restaurants and the cafes and things like that, we need to introduce it. So I'll definitely raise that with my colleagues and see what they say, but
that'd be great.
I'm going to get it there. I'm going to get it.
That'd be great. And also, I think we've got 6 universities now that are all signed up around the country, and that's another area that we're working with. Certainly, I think it's Exeter is one of our ones that are they just go for it. The stickers are everywhere, digital. I think, and they converted all the colleges as well in Somerset and Cornwall. All the adult education facilities have all got membership now as well. So in the education stream, it's a great thing.
Amazing, thank you, Clive.
Thank you.
That's great. So many connections here. I really like it. This seems just like a wonderful place to end. I mean, thank you so much for giving up your time today. We really appreciate you all coming, being part of this. This resource is going to go online on YouTube, so this can be replayed by so many people. So I think it's going to be really helpful for a lot of people. So thank you so much to Diana and Clive and Oliver and Chloe and Sue, who can't hear us, but we're saying thank you down the airwaves. Thanks everyone for watching and coming along. Do get in contact with us if you want to talk more, and please follow all the socials in the chat. But thank you all for coming.
Thanks very much.
So much,
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.